Hello, YouTube, and hello to you, my fellow metalheads. This is Duke Grishnock checking in on you guys one more time, doing a video today, and I'm reviewing Cannibal Corpse's brand new album, released on November 3rd, 2017. The album is called Red Before Black. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about Cannibal Corpse, but I will spend a little bit. Cannibal Corpse is a really well-known extreme metal band, probably the most well-known, definitely the most well-known of death metal, and they sort of have, they've been known for their consistency, as with a lot of death metal bands, and going into this, you gotta know this is a Cannibal Corpse album. That's kind of what you expect going into it. I mean, if you listen to Cannibal Corpse, you know what I'm talking about. They don't change it up a whole lot. You know, some errors, as I like to divide it, and most people do, basically, you know, your Chris Barnes era and your George Corpse Grinder Fisher era. So the first handful of albums with Chris Barnes, it's a lot more brutal in your face, a little thrashy, especially in the first album, and less so on the second album that they've done. And yeah, and then they sort of mix it up and bring in a little bit better production value and other things, with George Fisher's becoming included into the band with Vile, and from Vile on until Kill on. That's how I basically divide, you know, sort of sound blocks. And Red Before Black is definitely continuing in this current sound block. So, that being said, they do change it up a little bit in this album and give it a little bit of a distinct feel, and that's pretty cool. I like that. So, it really starts off hard, like really any freaking Cannibal Corpse album, you know, it just starts off, kill, you know, just in your goddamn face, right? And this is no exception. So, what I particularly like about this intro song, the first song off of this album, is this part. That is from Only One Will Die. Really liked the atmosphere and aesthetic of that song. This album is definitely focused on the one man, the slasher, the traditional horror killer, the serial killer, however you want to look at it. And it's definitely a theme that goes through this album. And what I like about this part is the dual vocals, the backing vocals, which come out of nowhere and just throw the voice out there and push it out. And it's like, oh shit, oh. You know what I mean? Very consistently faster on the beginning parts, the first 2 minutes of the song, and then it's like, this is the climax, like, ah! Fucking nice touch. If you don't overdo doing stuff like that, where the two vocals just, like DSI'd and fucking every single fucking thing is like 2 or 3 fucking vocalists at the same goddamn time, or 5,000, I don't even fucking know, and it just gets gimmicky. But I really like how they did it a handful of times in this album and in their last several albums. It's something a little more new in Cannibal Corpse's repertoire. Traditionally speaking, it's really just been focused on the lead vocalist. It doesn't really have any backing vocals until more recently, and I like that inclusion. It gives it a little difference between, the different albums and the different, sound blocks, as I kind of describe them. And that's one of the things that is newer in this, and yeah. So, the basic idea with this album is this is a little bit of a roller coaster. So it starts off pretty heavy and then kind of drops down a little, gets a little bit slower, not quite as in your face, and then goes whoop, and then just kind of chills over here a little bit, and then goes whoa right at the end. That's a pretty cool vibe. What I'm trying to say is that they don't ram blast beats down your face. They don't just shred on the guitar all the goddamn time. And I really like that about this album, is they kind of mix it up a little bit in the sounds, song to song. And it truly gives, the feeling of like you're going through a real experience and finding out these things, and you know what I mean? It's not just like a barrage of fucking sound at your face, the whole goddamn time. That's kind of nice. Makes it a little bit more memorable. So, yeah. One thing that a lot of people are talking about in like YouTube comments and other people's reviews that I picked up on too is the interesting drumming. And yeah, they don't overdo the blast beats in this album. There are some sprinkled in here or there, specifically in a couple songs in the beginning and right in the dead center and towards the very end. They do a decent amount of faster blast beats, but it really doesn't get too fast. It's like do 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 do. I'll just let this clip show you better than me just making ridiculous sounds and hand motions. Do it here. No. You don't really overdo it. It's not just it's not that ridiculous. It's nice, definitely, sets the groove real nice, and it doesn't get boring and stale. That's what I kind of like about it. Is it's not just a constant torrent of just machine gun typewriting sounds that a lot of death metal bands and black metal bands are guilty of, and grindcore. But anyway, it adds something to it, to say the least, and gives it a little bit more memorable of a sound. Another thing that you kind of notice as you go through this is, where's the bass? Kind of sinks into the background, and I mean, that happens all the time to various degrees, but does happen pretty often. But in this particular album, it's like it only kind of shows up for like a 2 or 3 second solo here or there. It's kind of fades into the background, which I don't really like too much. But the drumming and everything else is pretty much on fucking point, so I can't give them too much gripe about that. And towards the very end, there's a very unique sound, that I noticed that I really like. Here, I'll just play it for you and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, Cannibal Corpse is definitely no stranger to the occasional guitar solo every song or two. Generally speaking, it's only a handful of seconds, 30 seconds at the most, and that's just something they've been known to do. But the high pitched and screechiness of that just kind of like, oh shit, kind of breaks it up and makes it a little bit more unique of a sound that I haven't really seen them do before, and I like that kind of sound. It's well placed, just here or there. It kind of makes you like, oh, okay, cool, real quick, and I like that. And then the album just kind of tapers off. It just kind of stays this consistent fastness for the last song or two, and just done, ends, boop. No, outro, nothing. It just fucking happens. So all in all, I really like the album. It's definitely just just a Cannibal Corpse album. All of them are consistently good, but there's some newer elements in the music that I like about it. But all in all, like I said, with like the bass not fading into it, and there's, you know, a handful of memorable spots in it, but not entirely. Do I think this is like their best album of all time? No. Is it in their top 5? Probably not. But I mean, it's still a solid album, and that's basically my real gripe with it. Is, I mean, it's really good, but you know, all Cannibal Corpse album is really good. So you know. So all in all, in their discography, I'd put it as a pretty average ranked album, which by all means still means that it's a really good album, but it didn't really blow me away. And yeah. So all in all, I'm gonna give it a 7.5-star ranking out of 10. Solid shit. Really good job, you guys. Not your best work. Few little gripes, but generally speaking, I really liked it. And yeah, you put a few unique things into there, and I kind of like that. And I like to see you guys experimenting a tad bit. So yeah, that's gonna be about it. You should definitely check it out. And you should also continue to check out my channel, drop some likes, comments, subscribe if you like. That would be really awesome. Thank you.